This is Willpower.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Willpower Podcast. This is Cosmin Nicolae that is with me today all the way from Bucharest. And I'm thrilled to have you and have this conversation today. So welcome.
It's a pleasure. And thank you for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to the discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. After meeting you and connecting with you at the Culture of Bathing event in New York, there's been so much on the show for listeners around thermal therapies, and you are the wellness director of Therme over there in Bucharest, and so much experience, so much robust background. And I really want to share with the listeners, we don't always talk about origin story, but you're, for someone relatively young, you have so much experience in this space, especially compared to us over here in North America, where a lot of this is really coming to the landscape for the first time. So I hoped you could open with telling us a bit about how you discovered all this thermal therapy work and how it's been a part of your culture and just how you fell in love with it.
So it's an interesting story, I may say. I'm really glad to say that I was born, raised, and developed in Therme, Bucharest. I have a background in medical school. I finished the Balneology. So basically, I worked with the recovery of patients after they have injuries or if they have some neuromuscular issues or some postures. So I worked in hospital before, but I left to work on the cruise ships in 2014. On Carnival Cruise Line and also Royal Caribbean as a first personal trainer and then spa manager. But when I had some holidays in Romania for like 3 months, I think, I just saw that Therme is hiring because they didn't open, but they start recruiting to open. And I just applied just to see what's happening and to ask more about the project. And I was immediately caught up, right? Like a glue. They pulled me in. Mm-hmm. So I closed my contract with the cruise ships, and for almost 10 years, I'm the wellness director of Therme Bucharest. My trainings with essential oils and working inside the sauna, I started in 2016 through Therme. I did the courses in Belgium, in Germany, in Netherlands, and then I developed protocols and procedure for my guys, and I trained them as well. And the background, I had some things in my background, but not this full wellness dimension like I do right now, because right now we're talking about mineral pools, anything that goes with balneology, treatments like massages, cosmetics and everything. This I had some experience in, but not that developed and not that huge and fast. And also the rituals and everything, the beauty treatments that we do inside the sauna.
It's amazing. There's so many different rituals that happen, and I think more and more that we see them coming to North America and the landscape with companies like Othership, and really just I think we haven't quite gotten to understand the world of thermal spas here and at the level that you have overseas and just culturally across the world. We're sort of playing catch up over here, and I think it's one thing I would love you to describe a bit is the Balneology. Is that the word that you used?
Balneology, yeah.
Just to explain a bit more about that, and also, a lot of times we're over here in North America, and people are like throwing themselves in a cold plunge, or maybe going in a steam room after the gym, or sitting in a sauna, but there's not much ritual to it at all. So I thought maybe could you explain the word Balneology, because I want to know more about it, and also some of the more popularized rituals that people might not have heard of, whether that be this whole notion of Aufguss, which I do want to get into. And just really how the experiences and rituals can make such a difference for people who are going through the thermal therapies.
So when we're talking about balneology, this is something that Romania really had a history in, because we have a lot of thermal waters and we have a strong culture in bathing in thermal waters and mineral springs. But the really interesting thing, and I think is the Romanian paradox, because we have a lot of Roman heritage and also some Turkish heritage and history behind it, but we never had the sauna into our DNA. Mm-hmm. Even if we had a lot of thermal facilities, everything is ruined right now, and you cannot find in Romania. So in Romania, when Therme began, we started from not the bottom, underneath the bottom, because nobody did a sauna, nobody. So you had just some small sauna in some hotels that nobody used, and the sauna culture was not low, was below zero. Yeah. So we started with different fragrance experience, with a lot of education, with explaining the benefits, explaining the essentials, explaining the rituals, and we developed and growth. At the beginning, when me and my team did the Aufgusses, we had only like 5 or 6 person in a sauna of 60, and we're trying to get people and say, hey, let's experience something. Let me present you what an Aufguss means. And right now we have more than 2,000 and something guests per day only in the sauna area enjoying the rituals.
So no, there wasn't any sauna or Aufguss in the beginning because of the cultural shift away from it. And so you started with a lot of like aromatherapy and things like that to be able to sort of draw people in more, because that was a good first step.
Exactly. And also we use a lot of hooks. What I mean by hooks. So in Romania, we have the salt culture that is very, everybody from Romania went at least to a salt cave, or they do at least some salt infusion over the head, over the water bowl with boiling water, or they just warm salt and they put on the wounds. This is something that we have in our culture. So we use that hook and we presented the salt sauna in Elysium, and everybody assimilated and appropriate that sauna with health. And then from then we shifted to other sauna as well. And also for aromatherapy, because we are talking about the limbic system and the memory perception and the memory gather point, yeah, and the creator, the limbic system of this, we use a lot of smells that everybody had in their houses or in their history. So because every kid from Romania have been to their grandparents' house and they drink a peppermint tea or a chamomile tea. So at the beginning, we use a lot of local herbs that are very appropriate to their memories and their experience that they already had. And then we expand and we brought, I don't know, just an example, catrafai from Madagascar, or different ajwain from India, and different essential oils, and more diverse and evolutive smells, and more some local products from around the world. But at the beginning we start very small with local products that everybody know and everybody felt it, and they have it in their habitus and in their behavior.
Yeah, that's so smart, right? And then it's like there's a connection. Scent is such a powerful connection to memories and things in our lives. So you're using things that are nostalgic to to Romania in the moment.
Exactly. And you always go to something that you feel safe. You do not have a lot of shadow and uncertainty. What that is, I do not know the name. I don't know where it's coming from. You go to something that is familiar. And after you grow, you can expand that community and always add some more things. Sometimes you go on something niche. Sometimes you go with something for the masses, but depends how you choose it. You always need to move and adapt the schedule of activity with this.
Yeah, there's a mix of scents that I will use once in a while when I'm working in the sauna here, and everyone will always go, this is like Christmas. This is like Christmas. And then they get, that everyone feels like there's a big connection there, and it's so interesting to watch that happen. Yeah. Beautiful.
Exactly.
So opening the rituals with various things and using salt, salt caves, salt rooms, the salt scrubs, the things that were there that people are already using traditionally for healing, and then expanding into more of the heat therapies in that way. And can you also, just with your robust experience with Aufguss, can you speak a little bit specifically about this? We just had Mikkel on the show, and he talked a lot about sauna culture, and sweat culture and hot boxes all around the world. But I'd love for you, because you have, this background, to really explain and speak a bit about Aufguss, what it is. And no one has ever talked about that on the show before. So if you're open to it, just even the word, people don't know what it is here.
So Aufguss in German basically means infusion. But when you're talking about Aufguss, the German way that went international, you're talking about l'œil, the soul of the sauna. Basically, when you're talking about a standard and the zero, from everything started, you're talking just about some water over the stove. And this appeared as a necessity, because when you're talking about sauna, before you didn't have a lot of ventilation, and you have a lot of people sweating and breathing there. So you need to open the door to put some fresh air in and to refresh the air. Also to increase the humidity because you lost some heat. But when you're putting relative humidity high, the real feel of the sauna goes higher, even if the temperature is still the same or lower. Yeah. So Aufguss appeared like a necessity, just a guy with a towel putting some fresh air inside and then spreading the steam all over to make an even experience. Because when you're sitting in the sauna, depending on where you're sitting, near to the stove, above the last stone of the stove, under, you need to take all the steam to put all over the body, so all your body hits in the same way. Because if your full body is hitting like aggressively and your feet are cold, then the circulation is not good for you and you don't feel the sauna as good. So that's why it appears like a necessity to make everything even. And even for the guys who are sitting on the lower bench or on the top benches, because in the top benches, after you put water, your heart will explode because all the steam will attack you. So that's why you need to take the steam and to put it down. So this is what is Aufguss. You can say it infusion if you'd like. Yeah, okay. You can say it loilu, like the Norwegian or the Finnish they're saying. Yeah, you can call it how it's called in Danish. They say. Sorry, I forgot. Something like burst of steam or something. Yeah. So it has different name, but at the roots,
because it's all just really it's around circulating the air. It's around creating a moderate or a heat temperature that everybody can feel. And then there's just really the experience of the towel waving piece and in some of the little history I've read about it, that these sauna masters or sauna meisters, and even Balneomeisters, etc. That the goal in many ways is like, how do we just do the basics, and then at some point there's like a need or there's a calling or there's an artistry that people say, hey, I want to work more storytelling or different types of characters that people are, everybody has a different story to tell and a different sort of flavor, and that's a lot of the sauna masters and the people creating these heat rituals were like, hey, I want to add things to this. I want to add more smell. I want to add more story and things like that. Yeah.
And also the exercise is developed because, as you say, you can go on more to the Aufguss show. You can go or more to the classical model, or you can go more to the ritualistic way of doing an Aufguss. But when you're talking about exercises, you need to think what you're doing with the towel. Because when I'm doing like the parachute, I'm just putting the steam down into the body. When I'm moving the towel near to the skin, I'm removing the water droplets that protects me. So then I can put more heat inside the body. And also in that droplets from the steam, you have the essential oils and all the molecules can go into the skin. Because look, I made a ritual here in Therme. It's called the Siberian Aufguss. It's called the Siberian because you're sitting in 90 degrees. The real feel of the sauna will going to be 105 to 110 degrees because you have 12 to 15% humidity, relative humidity. But because I use 3 types of mint, one eucalyptus globulus from Australia and another mental crystal inside the water, you can have shivers of cold in 90 degrees.
You can have shivers. Oh, because the mint. Wow.
Yeah, and all the molecules are near to your skin and you feel like you're chilled. And sometimes you feel like you're almost shivering of cold and you feel full of energy and full of refresh. So this is a ritual. Yeah, you have a standard procedure and everybody's following the same. Yeah, and it's you can have like freestyle, and for sure you talk with a lot of people, like you said earlier about the show Aufguss, that you can do a lot of throws, you can do really dexterity and very beautiful harmonious movement with the towels. But if you want to do it also
and the
basic,
show Aufguss is a whole different level. It's the show Aufguss is like music and lighting and costumes, and there's so many different things going on that I see in lots of the videos from overseas, and it's just it can grow into anything you want, it seems like. But I love the experience because I was blessed enough to have the experience with you doing an Aufguss at World Spa when we were all the way out there. That was like the biggest spa I've ever been to in my life. But really, and just the way that you used powerful music, it wasn't overdone. It was such an experience. It was so hot. It was so hot in there. And yet we're in there and we're all, managing through it, and you're controlling the entire space. You're leading the entire space. And the use of the scents and the use of the towels and everything was just so masterful that it's beautiful to see. And I remember there's things I even learned in watching you do that with like the placement of where the stones were in that room and how the ceiling height and you being tall and like navigating all of those things when you walk into a new space must always feel like, okay, here we go. I'm going to give you the best experience I can in this whole new space. How big is the sauna in Therme, Bucharest, you said? How many people?
So right now we have 9 dry saunas, starting from 45 degrees to almost 92, 94 degrees.
This is all in Celsius, right? This is all Celsius you're giving me.
Celsius,
yeah, okay.
yeah.
So it's like, for those of us in North America, it's quite hot.
Yeah, I think 90 degrees is 184 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot.
Yeah.
And we're starting from 25 person to almost 70 person. This is the biggest that we have. Ad Astra and Atera.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, and as you said with the Aufguss shows, it's like performing art inside the sauna. It's a form of expression. That's why in Aufguss shows you're gonna see a lot of personal stories, or like people wanting to put something into your mind, to give you like a message that you get at the end of the session, to relate with you, to heal or give something back to the community. Maybe like not like a message in the bottle. Yeah, that's the end of the performing art inside the sauna. It's very beautiful, and you need to check it. Like what we're gonna do the Aufguss VM this year. We're gonna be in Aguardens in Italy in a sauna of 330 person. So
wow.
That's huge.
Wow, that's so big. And there must be multiple stoves in there, right? To be able to make it work?
Oh, yes. I think they have like, I don't know, 10, 12 stoves, but everything is put in the middle. So they have a lot of power. And I think they have more than 4 tons of stones onto the ovens. Yeah. On the stove.
Yeah. People are doing this at such a high level. And, you came out of this physical therapy space and being a physio and where you showed up. And I was reading the article about how you went to the interview, just to go back to that one little piece of the story. But you said you showed up to the interview for Therme and because you said you want to just explore it. But in the article I read, it said that everyone else was showing up in suits and you were like in a black T-shirt and a nose piercing or an ear piercing or something. Was that true?
Yes, it was very true, and I had a tank top, and also I had a piercing in my eyebrow and ear ping, and also my earring, and I have tattoos and stuff, and I was like, hey guys, how you doing? But
that's so funny.
We had some good people there in the HR who said, hey, you need to look at the resume of these guys. We had a discussion and about, I don't know, something about anatomy, biomechanics and stuff. And they said, oh, this guy knows some stuff, so let's go with him. But not everybody was pleased with me there. I can say that, yeah. We had some people who said, throw him out.
But were there moments of the beginning of you working there that were you have to overcome perception, right? Perception of what people think what an eyebrow piercing is, or that you were young probably, or that, but you brought experience to the table. And do you remember any sort of like a big early challenge you had? You don't have to name names, but where it was like you had to really overcome and build relationship with showing up there and taking on such a big role at the spa?
At the beginning, when we hired, I think we were like 16 or 18 people at the beginning. I lost all of them. So only 2% remained. Because in Romania, as I told you, we didn't have any sauna culture. And when you say to your friends or your family what you're doing, I'm working inside the sauna with a towel. So people were like mocking you, yeah? Oh, so you're a car waver or a car washer or something like that.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of pressure, and most of the people that I started with, they already left. I had only 2% that they remained, and right now 1 remained from the start of 2016. Wow. So yeah, it was very hard, because you cannot explain to your family that you're working to make people healthier, or to not entertain, but to provide a ritual inside a sauna. You cannot. Romania has a lot of conservative mentality, yeah. So when you're saying, we had some girls that they were doing Aufgusses, and their husband and their boyfriend said that you cannot dance in front of people like that, just go from there, and they left, and they were very good Aufguss masters.
Yeah. So it's like fighting this cultural norm to be able to expand into a different space. Yeah, and it feel like it's changing now, I'm sure, right? That people are like, there's a lot more of respect and understanding in the health culture, and
Oh,
Do you
yes.
feel like there's a shift in Romania as well, just even after, going through the whole pandemic and all of that, that people are continuing to understand these healthy practices now, and the resurgence, this like beautiful renaissance that we're having over here, that's been hitting Romania in the same way? Because I hear a lot of things about Bucharest, a lot of things that are, positive things that I still feel like you guys are ahead of the curve from where we are.
I really like you said, the Renaissance, because we saw the biggest boom in wellness and activities, and also bathing and using the mineral pools and the scrubs and the steam baths and everything after the pandemic. Yeah, we saw it like it exploded. So yes, right now we have a big shift. To be an Aufguss master, you're very respected. You're very well known in the community. Everybody loves you. You have a lot of friends. So sometimes when we visit another city in Romania, some people from the community said, hey, don't pay from the hotels, just come sit with us, let's do a barbecue, we can go this, I can show you all the surrounding. They help us with everything. So it's you feel very good. It's noble in a way. Yeah.
Noble, yeah, you feel welcome into these communities, and people want you to be a part of their lives, and I would imagine in return you're learning more about the smaller cultures and families in the different cities when you go and visit. That's so beautiful. And you have this. Yeah.
And you can see a lot of really good stories how the wellness impacted their life. So you have the community, they made such a good relationship that right now they're going to go to Aufguss VM with us. They just bought like 20 people, they bought the tickets, they want to come after us to have with the flags and everything, to be with the wellness. They go to other spas to check the Aufgusses, to check everything, and always they do like journeys, and they talk about wellness, they talk about programs, they talk about a lot of things, and they follow us and follow the wellness industry. And this is impressive. It comes from nothing and it expanded and it became a phenomenon, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's so great. You have this mantra that is in Wellness I Trust, and I just wanted to see if you want to speak about how that sort of continues to guide your personal journey. And I see how your professional journey is unfolding around the wellness landscape, but for you as a practitioner, how do you keep wellness in your day to day, and how are you practicing these things as well? Because I know what happens sometimes when we're working and we're like, it's great, I'm going to be in the sauna all the time, I'm going to be doing and going, but when I'm in the sauna and I'm using aroma and ice balls and I know we don't always say entertaining, but creating a ritual, creating a space where you're welcoming people in the space from the moment they walk into the door of the wellness center or the spa, and through walking them through what's about to happen. And then I'm in the sauna for half an hour, over an hour, and it's like it can be taxing on the body. So are there things that you're doing to make sure that you're getting your wellness in, getting your fitness training in, all of that?
I cannot say that in the last year I've been like the best example in how wellness should be done by a person, because working a lot, and I didn't take care of myself as much as I take care of others, and I always prioritize a lot of things around my team and around the job that I need to do more than I do for me. But yes. I did a lot of trainings, and until 2015, I was like one of my best forms. And after I started sauna until 17, 18, I was again one of my best forms. But right now I'm getting fatter, but I like it because inside the sauna it doesn't matter. Because it's almost like a protection from the steam, because when you're fat and you have a lot of adipose tissue, so you don't feel the hot and cold that much. So it's good. I'm isolated, I'm not fat, you know.
You're isolated.
I'm isolated. Exactly.
I do notice though, like I'm learning all of the things, I'm so much more novice than you in creating these rituals, Cosmin, and so it's so beautiful to talk to you about some of these things, but I'm learning the hard way. I'm learning that like I used a ladle that was too short, or I'm putting the water on the stones the wrong way. Thankfully I had very good like gel and things, but I like steam burned the backside of my hand. Like all of the rookie mistakes. Do you know what I mean by this phrase? Yeah. All of the rookie mistakes of being like having a beautiful ceremony in the middle of the 15-minute show. I'm like burn my hand so incredibly that I'm like, am I going to be able to get through the rest of it? And then as soon as I'm done with the whole, experience and ritual, like going into putting my hands in the cold plunge right away to make sure that I'm supporting that. So there's all these little things that happen from a self-care perspectives. I really when I saw you perform specifically, it was like you made it seem so seamless, right? This is what they say, right? Mastery is in making it look easy, but there's so many different details that go into it that it's just, it's pretty wild. Can you talk about anything that's gone on in the middle of a ritual you've been leading that just felt like almost insurmountable, or like a challenge where you're like, how am I going to navigate this, or anything even funny that's come up that you had to like just incorporate into the ritual?
In wellness, I trust. I do believe that wellness and all the activities are going to help us like live longer, live better, and have some really great communities and a really good way of living. Yeah, so I will trust this until I'm gonna close my eyes forever. But this is like one of the mantras that I have in my heart. Going back to the activities, at the beginning when we started, I didn't know how the ovens would gonna react. So you need to learn to understand the heart of the sauna is the oven, and you need to respect it with all your cells. So at the beginning, I was bold, I was brave. I don't feel temperature that much, so I can sit in 100 degrees Celsius for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'm good. I don't feel nothing. And also, I have very low heartbeats. I have like 46 to 52 heartbeats per minute. Wow. I always sit like this, and when I go inside the sauna, I go to 120 until I finish the ritual, 140. But then in half an hour, for 1 hour and something, I go back to 46, 40, 48. So for me, it feels safe. So that was at the beginning. I was brave and bold and doing a lot of activities and stuff. But then when I moved just a little with the towel, my back of the foot, they touched the oven, and my skin was there.
Wow.
Like it was there. I was almost like, yeah, whole foot like a very straight line on my skin. I said, oh, okay, I understood it. That was like a warning. Watch out. Yeah.
It was like the oven was just saying, I'm right here. Remember who the real master is.
Don't forget. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
don't forget to respect the oven, because that's the heart of the sauna, and you need to feel it and to understand it.
Yeah, that's a really important point for not just people working in these ritual spaces, but just there's, I still see in North America people, we have some of them are electric, not a lot of stones on top. People are dumping water. There's like short circuiting them. Like there's just, there's this notion too. And I think when we see how saunas can be built, that people are still learning to build them well over here in North America. I think there's probably all different types of heat elements in all the different thermal therapies that are hot therapies or hot boxes around the world. And it can't always be that it's fire or just stone, but they are hopefully better and better, getting better and better here to sort of match set with what's happening overseas and so many of the saunas that I've seen. So I've seen people, even, people who come in and they're trying to create their own ritual moments that there's no one running the sauna in that moment, have challenges or burn themselves and things like that. So it's a good reminder for all of us to respect the heart of the sauna, which is that heat element, or the heart of the heat therapy.
Yeah, and also do not forget that with the basically when you're using water over a stone, the stone will gonna contract and we're gonna close. So that's why you need to be very careful with how you put water all over the stones. So you don't contract just one, you make it very cold that we're gonna break, because when you heat them up, they dilate, and then they contract when you close them with water. And also you need to experiment. Just try sometimes to use water over 90 degrees Celsius to almost boiling point, to see that's a different kind of steam. If you're using only cold and ice, that's a different kind of steam. Because when you're using cold water and ice, the molecules of the steam, they're very high. But with water being higher in temperature, then the molecule are gonna go very, very small. So that's why when you're talking about concepts like banya, or they have like a big iron, they do not have stones, they have a big iron heart, and they throw water there, and that water almost implodes. It's that hot that I think it's over 300 degrees Celsius, and the molecule of the steam is so small that goes very deep inside your body. The higher the molecules, the higher the feeling of burn. The smaller the molecules, the higher the feeling of tempering steam. It's a little different. You just need to try it sometimes.
Yeah, and Daniel Bondarenko, who is a Banya master. He came out to the retreat that I did in Wisconsin. I had him come because he's in Minnesota, right across the border, and I was like, please drive 2 hours, come and share your gifts. And he made us some of his wife's tea, and he did a real Banya experience with the whisks and the venics and everything, and it was so beautiful to see. Even, of course, we were using this sauna on the premises that was like sort of a basic sauna that 8 people could get in, and it's well made. And I was like, are we going to be able to actually have a Banya experience? And he really just utilized the heat and the stone and the elements, and he was, explaining about using water that's warmer or hot versus cold. And it was really an eye-opening experience because I've been in banyas but never really curated by a banya master in that way. So it was interesting to feel that. And then also I never would have thought to use water that's boiling or even hotter than that, which would create a different experience. Do you feel like that's something that's also like when we're using these ice balls, which we haven't really talked about, but like the ice balls are creating a specific amount of steam and aroma because they have essential oils on them? Are there times that you're using ice balls in that way and then the water is still very hot that you're pouring around the coals? So it's the combination of 2 temperatures and 2 types of steam hitting the room?
But also basically the ice ball, it creates, because when you're talking about...
Yeah, and can you explain the ice ball thing? Because people are like, what are you making snowballs here? At the place that I work here, I have a little hand crank and it takes me 2 minutes to make each one. And I'm like, and people are like, what are you doing?
But why you're using the ice balls? Because if you're just try sometimes, take some oil, essential oils, and put it inside the water. You're going to see that the oils always stay at the surface, yeah? And when you take with something with a leather just to put over the stove, then you're going to burn. That essential oils that you burn is not good for your health. It's like almost like smoking 1 pack of cigarettes. Don't do it. Because you have a lot of molecules in essential oils, yeah? Some molecules that are not supposed to be burned. Because the stone sometimes has more than 180 to 120 degrees Celsius. So it's not allowed to throw something directly to be burned. So that's why you use the ice balls to put the essential oils on top or inside. When it starts melting, it creates like a pathway. Yeah, just to something to expand, and also the molecules of the essential oils to attach the molecules of steam and to go inside your air. So that's why you have a very clean and very safe environment to breathe. And you have good molecules in humidity, yeah? That's why you're going to see like the florals, you need to put some water, then the ice balls or the citric, because they have very high top notes. The molecules are very small and they burn very fast. So that's why you need to cool down first the stones with water, then to put the ice balls, and then to let them expand. With woody smells or with like reshilas, vetiver, patchouli, and other essential oils, you can put them directly on the stone in the ice bowl without pulling the water. But you still need to put the water surrounding it, because then you have the pathway that are going to expand and going to take all the water molecules.
Yeah, that's a really great point, because it's like if you were to put anyone would take a bottle of essential oil and just dash it onto the stones, the smell would be like very much caustic, not great for you, and it would be like it smells like it's burning, right? And the smell is not even a pleasant smell,
and that's very bad for health and for lungs.
Yeah,
please don't do it. If you see people doing that, just go out of the sauna. It's not good at all.
They then the place that I'm at even is like they don't really allow any of that, and they have like only like spray bottles sometimes where the bottles have to be shaken up in order to spritz them around the stones, and it's interesting, right?
Yeah, but also if you want to put something directly over the stove and inside that spray water, just use floral water. Floral water has very low molecules of essential oils. It's like a side product. When you're doing the essential oils, you have the floral water. Just put some floral water. And when you don't use just some tea, take some rosemary, boil it, put it over the stove. It's amazing. If you want something more simple, like basic cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, it's very simple.
Right, and in some sort of water element that's on top of the stone, that it can just be like heating the water and smelling, putting good aroma.
And also you can put it over the ice and over the stove. It works like that also.
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, because you're having cinnamon sort of infused into hot water that then goes over the stove and then smells that way.
Exactly.
Great.
Or you can put it over the stove, over a steel plate with some holes, and you just put water under the holes, and the infusion will going to pass through the cinnamon, and you're going to have a tea brewing inside the sauna.
Inside the sauna. Everybody's tea.
Yeah, everybody's tea. And you breathe the tea.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Wow.
It's simple, basic Aufguss. This is what a real Aufguss is. You don't need music all the time. You don't need like waving techniques all the time. You just sometimes need some natural local elements, some water, and maybe something to stir the air. That's also an Aufguss.
Someone was just in one of the rituals that I did who said they're up in Dallas and they were using absinthe in
Oh, yeah.
then they were like putting absinthe ice balls to be able to create this sense of like the alcohol is burning off, and so it's like an interesting, you get the herbs but then this like alcohol burn off. And I was like, does this feel like a good idea or not? I don't know. But I like that people are experimenting. I know, I like that people are experimenting, but it feels like should you drink the absinthe after the sauna?
But also, Kristin, we have like in Germany is like regular to do an Aufguss with beer. They just put beer in a water bucket and they put it over the stove, and it smells like freshly brewed bread.
Hops or something? What does it smell like?
Like bread. Like
bread. Oh, yeah.
And also they had an Aufguss, I think, where they use Jägermeister, because that's, and they put inside the water and they put it over the stove. It smells like a lot of plant. But
it's because it's so herbaceous, right? That whole the Jägermeister.
I don't know.
I'd rather put it in the sauna than drink it. That's for sure. That's
for sure.
One of the things I was reading about you is that like you were kind of exploring and seeping yourself a bit in your younger years, and maybe even currently in some Eastern philosophies, and talking about like the Shaolin and things that were inspiring you. Do you want to talk a little bit about anything that in that arena that's been inspiring you in your work, or things that you might layer in from some Eastern philosophy and how they can inform some things you're doing at Therme?
So I was very interested, like my life began because I did a lot of trainings from age 8, I think, in different gyms in Romania, and also like boxing, Muay Thai, and heavyweights. And for me, the biggest question that brought me where I am right now was, how come a small guy that is fit can have the same power as a big guy that is full of muscle? And I always I was trying to understand how the muscle evolve, and how you can access more muscle. And then I went to everything that goes with herbs. And I tried to research on maca, with ginseng, with tribulus, with a lot of things that stimulates your testosterone and human growth hormone, and make you concentrate more to access more from the Golgi apparatus, how it's called, neuromotor. So you can access more muscle that will gonna be tougher.
Neuromotor skills. Got it.
Neuromotor skills. Yeah, I heard I forgot to say that my English is kind of rusty, and I'm really sorry for your audience.
No, this is great practice. It's great practice. Yeah. And I'm sure everyone who's listening is like, this accent is amazing.
Yeah, but I think for not for all of them, but for some, we're going to be almost like punishment. Yeah, we brought that guy. We don't understand.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Okay. So I try to understand how. And then I went to a lot of books about the Eastern knowledge and everything that goes with Ayurveda, everything that goes with traditional Chinese medicine, and a lot of other different cultures that use herbs and different ointments and different ritualists and different procedures to train the body, like with the monks and the showering and everything. And even right now, I think I have like 30 books in Comanche medicine man, and America. I have from from Philippines to India to Japan to. I have a lot of books with folklore traditions, and also ritual that was they were did and tested just by saying, they were not written anywhere. So it was impressive for me to understand how can we improve the life, and how some people, they go such a further way with their bodies and their minds and everything, and some people, they just go and disappear, and they do not achieve the true potential. So I was impressed with this. This was like my goal. I started, I think, when I was 12, and the question that brought me here where I am today, also as a wellness director, it was how it's possible. And I just wanted to research. Because everybody there in Romania, they use steroids, like a lot of steroids, and then they said, I have this problem, my skin is no good, I have this happening to my chest, I don't feel, how can you help me? And then I researched different herbs and different plants that they can help with recovery and equilibrium of the endocrino-metabolic system.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and all of that is just such, there's like a depth of knowledge that you bring that, again, is like, especially because the negative side effects of steroids, but like when we're looking at all the things that you research that you can bring in, it's around plants and herbs. And I think it's the one thing that I didn't, as I'm learning, and when I first went, so we were speaking before we started recording, that I was like studying with Deborah Carr a bit, and that I thought, oh, all of this sauna ritual and all of these thermal therapies, here's some things I can learn, but what I didn't understand or didn't know I was going to go into when I went to do the beginner sauna master certification was that we would spend a large portion of time on herbs and aroma and barely even scratch the surface, right? There's so much that we get to see and hear and learn about when it comes to sort of the herbalism that's behind it all. It's fascinating.
It is fascinating, and what is beautiful right now in these years that we're living, that the research is going deeper and deeper, and you're gonna have a lot of new scientific proof that are just made right now and shows the benefits. Also, you had the tea tree, the Melaleuca alternifolia that they use in influenza virus, and right now you have a lot of research on it that shows how powerful it is, and more essential oils and more molecules in the phytotherapy are going to be pushed, and we're going to find some more. Right now, we're talking only about traditions and folklore, and this is how our ancestors did it, or our ancient civilization did it, and why they use it. But right now, we're going to understand why and how in a very scientific way. So this is beautiful, because we already we're going back to the roots, but in a modern way.
Yeah, absolutely. Will you speak a bit about soulfulness and the way that you build sort of soulfulness into the practices that you're sharing within Therme, within your own life, like that, how you try to connect sort of the heart and soul of people who show up with these practices for healing? And some of it might be even building into the way that you're leading your team to do that, right? That there's some connection there that people are seeing and understanding their healing at a deeper level.
I think this is the beauty of wellness, Kristin, and wellness activities, because what we're doing right now, if you want to do wellness, you need to do it for the people. You cannot do it for yourself. I know it's not a selfish gene that we have in our body, but you're really gonna fulfill and you're gonna grow when you do something else. And in this new generation that we saw, that everybody says that the millennials and the Z generation, they're not working anymore, it's not true. They want to express themselves. They want to heal. They want to help. They want to have a goal of empowering other people. So right now I have 16 Aufguss masters, starting from age 19 to 34. And they're working with me for almost, I have 5 years, 7, 9, 3 years, 4, and so on. I think the newest one are almost 1 year already, and they don't want to leave. They enjoy it at maximum. So, but it's something that you always, after you finish a sauna with 60 souls that been there, and they're coming from different work environment, they're coming with a lot of things on their back from their houses, from their family, and they come here and they just go like, yeah, I'm done. And then you start doing a ritual. Maybe you're doing an energizing ritual. Maybe you're doing something to relax. And it happened. We have a lot of story. Just one of mine. I went outside of the sauna. I did the Void. The Void is an Aufguss in complete darkness meditation sauna in Hollywood. And we had a group of people who always coming after 6 p.m. to our facility, and they're working in the bank environment. And they've been through a lot of stress, and they had a lot of work to do. And after I finished the Void, one man that I think was 120 kilograms full of muscle, very big guy, he almost cried, and he just shook my hand and he said, Cosmin, right now I need to go back to my kid, back home, because I don't know when this week just passed, but I don't remember kissing him or staying with him. I need to go home now. So after an Aufguss, yeah, I still have goosebumps, because that was a huge man, and like, man, they're not supposed to show emotions and they're like rocks, yeah. But this guy was like, God damn it, what happened, man? 1 week just passed. I don't remember my kid in my hands, and he had like a 5 years toddler or something, and he just take the rope, he took a shower, and he went directly home. So sometimes it may happen like this, yeah. It's the wellness activities and what you're doing is like a pebble that you throw into a lake. You see all the circles, because if I'm relaxing you and I'm taking care of you as my guest, then you go home to your husband or to your family, and you have more will to listen to them. You want more, you want to feel more good, and you maybe you respond in a different way. You're not so snappy, and you're not so aggressive.
Because more connection.
Exactly. And then you go and enjoy more the things that you really like. Maybe in your working environment, you can focus more. You have the clear mind that you can adapt new situation, and you can find new solution. So you don't hit only that person that you do the wellness for. You hit also the community and the environment in his place and in his, a circle. Yeah,
in his whole community, or his or her whole community. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Exactly.
That ritual that you call the void is like you have it totally dark, and are you towel waving and using scents and steam and everything, but are you speaking as well, or are you just keeping it?
No speaking. So no speaking at all. We have a recipe that I took it from a Comanche medicine man book. It's called the first round is 411. So you have palmarosa, lemon, lavandin, and geranium. You go with 4 flowers, and then in the second round you have sage essential oil, clary sage, and burning sage, and you finish always with a grounding that goes with patchouli and mint. Peppermint and patchouli, and you have different melodic lines. That is the Aufguss is divided in 3 parts. It's called Lift Me Up, Soul Walking, and Root Me Down. So the first one, you just go up and you remove all the things that you have in your day until now or in your life. Then you go exploring and you just walk away and you're in another environment, and then you come back like a new person. It's very beautiful, the void.
Wow.
And it's very very powerful. A lot of people just cried. A lot of people, just feel very connected and safe after it. So it always brought a lot of amazing feedback, the void.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And it's also wonderful that you are using these like traditional books and this Comanche sort of recipes from it that you found, and to build the ritual, and to really, this is about state shifting, right? And it's about people's nervous system. Just as someone who works in like the breath, the cold, the heat, the nervous system space, coaching people, athletes, and people, householders, all of it. It's really about how we can get people to shift out of their nervous system that might be upregulated or might be feeling, stressed out to the max, how we can make everyone feel better. And also, I think the biggest piece that you just touched on is like connection and community, like being in a space with other people so we don't feel so alone with our stress, or that we have a moment to unwind with other people and can feel good and connected. Because the more that I see these rituals build and grow across North America, the more that I see community forming and developing, and people meeting in the hot spaces or the cold spaces, and then like falling in love, and all these things are happening. And it's just really a nice, like a like-minded healing way that people can get connected. So I'm so sort of thankful that you're building with such not just grace, but attention to detail, right? Again, this mastery thing that you bring to the table, both to Therme, Bucharest, and everything that you've shared today, and all the things you shared just in conversation at Culture of Bathing. I want to just ask you the last couple of questions, and the first one is sort of what do you see as your vision of the future of wellness with these practices and in the industry? Like, how do you see this going in the next year or two?
I think everything will gonna shift from this perception of modernist or futuristic way of view to a more natural and ancient and folklore respecting activities. We're gonna go back. We're not going forward. We're going back with more appreciation and more needed like never before, because we're the alone generation. We have money, we have good lives, we have everything, but we're feeling more alone and more depressed, and we use more pills than any other generation ever. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back, and you're gonna see a lot of shifts in away from the big city, away from everything that goes with urbanism and how you say, with industrial movement, you're gonna go a shift to just, I want to do a sauna, I want to be in the forest, I just want to have a bath in a lake. I just want, yeah, you're gonna see more and more coming back to the roots and to natural and to not classic, but
Just tradition, maybe.
traditional way of doing stuff, like clean, simple, no technology used, just me and the sauna and the wood and the fire and the steam.
I love it. I love it. So beautiful.
But the wellness activities, we're gonna have more requests. The ritual and the therapist who are gonna enhance, and we're gonna fructify all these activities. They're gonna be better and better and many and more respected in the years that come. People will really understand the need of these kind of facilities or activities, that you're supposed to give something back and to take care of yourself. The self-care will gonna be one of the greatest movement in the next years.
Yeah.
To stop
and
a little, to
I
breathe
feel
in.
that. I'm so hopeful for that development as well. I feel that so strongly. Really reconnecting to our roots across time, and then also like other cultures' roots, right? This is what's so beautiful about the work that you're doing, is exploring this global cultures all the way back to the rituals from earlier times and saying, how can we incorporate this? What can we learn from each other as we share collectively? And that's, yeah, I'm very excited about this whole renaissance, and really that you, as one of the leaders of this renaissance, it's so important that, to share all the gifts of knowledge that you're sharing today. I always wrap the show with one question for everybody. I ask them the same question, which is, if you could go back to your 15-year-old self, so 15-year-old Cosmin, you go have a chance to have a conversation with him, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give him to be able to have him step more into wellness, more into openness, more into, the greatest version of Cosmin as we see you now? Like, what would your advice be back to young Cosmin?
Oh, so here I have something, because if tomorrow never comes, I don't want to change not even 1 second in my life. I'm like, like in Meet Joe Black, I'm Anthony Hopkins, who says, yeah, it's okay, let's go, I'm good with everything. I don't want to change 1 second. And if I have had, I don't know, a chance to relive it, I will relive it and have this same discussion in this moment right now. So if I meet the 15 years old Cosmin, I said, go for it, man, you're gonna be fine. Just do as you want to do, just be free like you always have been, and choose wisely. But just one thing, when you're getting older, stop drinking whiskey and keep going to training, yeah? Because right now at 33, you're kind of big, bulky man, yeah? And I yeah, that's the only thing I'd advise. Easy with the whiskey, mate. Easy with the whiskey, mate. We're in the wellness industry, so yes, I don't like whiskey, I like water.
Listen, you're allowed to be balanced. You're allowed to be balanced, and have some social time. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with me. It's so lovely to have time with you like this.
Kristin, just let me ask you one question. So
Yeah.
if for you, if you want to go to your house or to your garden and just to pick up a vinyl disc and to drink 1 glass of alcohol that you need to have, I don't know, maybe 1 glass of alcohol, maybe, I don't know, 1 drink.
Yeah.
Is this wellness for you or is not?
I think that when I speak about, I don't drink a lot, but when I think about alcohol, I think about it in a way, sort of like the way you build essential oils or a ritual. If I'm going out to have something, I probably want it to be social and connect with someone else over it. But even if I'm out on my own and I really want to enjoy something, like if I was sitting in a garden or something, I really want to be able to have something that is a mix of aroma and flavor. And I don't mean like a blue, fancy, sweet cocktail, but something that's got something really beautiful that I can like smell and sip and really enjoy. And if I go out to have a drink, one of the things that I just really love is I love a mezcal. I love something that you're a whiskey drinker, so you may know this already. And ironically, I worked for about 15 years in the alcohol and spirits industry. So I know a lot about alcohol and the way that it's made and what comes from the terroir. And with mezcal or with whiskey, one really beautiful thing you can do if it's a good, if it's a good quality, is you take a few drops of it in your palm before you drink it, and you rub your hands together really vehemently so that you burn kind of the alcohol away, and then you can put your hands up and smell, and you can smell all the terroir and all of the barley, or from mezcal specifically, it's just like the land. You can smell the different types of the land that the agave was growing in. So for me, it's like really creating an experience and having one beautiful, like well-made cocktail that's balanced with some fresh ingredients, or even just having like a sipper of something that is like mezcal would be my choice for sure.
Nice. Kristin,
and I think it's wellness. I think that's okay, right? It's not I understand what alcohol can do to damage the body if you're drinking it all day long in bottles, but I also think it's nice to be able to appreciate something like that if it's something that you partake in. Yeah.
Exactly. And Kristin, just let me tell you this, but you have all the heart and you go into the story and you really go deep. So you're going to be one of the greatest therapists in the wellness industry, like so, with all the rituals that you're going to do, because you have everything there. You're just going to go like skyrocketing in this industry. Good job.
Thank you.
I really would like to see to participate in one of your therapies. I think you're going to be like one of the greatest.
Amazing. I'm learning more and more every day. I put 5,000 people in cold plunges, but I haven't done that amount of people in saunas yet. So working in the hot box, hot thermal therapies, here we come. It's so beautiful to spend this time with you. I learn from you every time I'm around you, and just to watch you work and the joy you bring to everything it's just impeccable. So thanks for refining all of these modalities for us and leading the way. And more to come.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. And again, for your audience, sorry for my English, guys. I'm rusty. I'm not a native speaker, so I hope you really understand some words, not all of them.
We'll see how their Romanian is when they go over and visit you.
Okay.